covering Northern California. You're watching Action News Now, coverage you can count on.
A high-speed crash caught on camera just feet away from a Chico home. We have new details tonight. And back on campus, why our local school shooting survivors decided it was time to reunite. But first, the search is on for the person who stabbed someone several times at an Oroville home. Myers and D Street, well, that is where neighbors were forced from their homes as police searched for that suspect just before 10 this morning. Action News Now reporter Sade Pullen has been on the scene for hours. Sade, how do people feel knowing that that suspect is still on the loose?
Yes, Haley. So I talked to a few neighbors and they tell me that they're not surprised that the suspect is on the loose, but they did tell me that they're not too worried for their safety. I spoke with many neighbors today who tell me that this specific home where the stabbing happened has had frequent trouble, and they tell me that it's usually a place for homeless people to hang out. Sergeant Ruben Quez from Oroville PD confirmed that as well. One neighbor who didn't want to show her face on camera told me that after the man was stabbed, he ran over to her house pleading for help.
Was asking for help, and he was blood everywhere, and he was cut from here to here, like big slashes in his arms, like laid wide open.
Okay, and you said that usually this is a place where homeless people like to stay?
Well, yeah, they have been, yeah.
Okay.
So it was like kind of like a fight on who's going to stay there. So that's why the one person got the other person, and it was just terrible. So
other neighbors confirmed to me that this place is an area where homeless people like to fight at that specific residency, and they said that there has been police presence before here too. Now, I asked Jess Darnell, he is the chief assistant with the Oroville Police Department, and I asked him if this house has had a history of homeless people and any police presence, and he says that right now, at this time, he tells me that he does not have an answer for me, that he said that's something that he has to look into, and he says he'll have answers for me tomorrow. But we're still looking to get those answers to find out exactly what happened in the history of this residency. Reporting live in Oroville, I'm Sade Pullen with Action News Now.
Thanks, Sade. Sergeant Quiz says at this time they have made no arrests. They don't have a suspect. They just have that person of interest, and they're looking for somebody who is either white or Hispanic with dark, long hair. If you have any information about who this person might be, call the police. 5 months, that's how long you have to wait until you can hop a plane from Redding all the way to Denver, Colorado. Not so long. The daily nonstop connection launches May 22nd. We reported over the last few days when the Redding City Council voted to allow City Manager Barry Tippin to continue negotiations with United Airlines to get those flights. Well, it just took a couple of days for him to work his magic. The new flight is expected to generate millions each year through tourism. From sunrise to sunset, our area is seeing its fair share of fog out there. Look at this time-lapse video. This is just the last 12 hours in Butte County. And Chief Meteorologist Howie Gordon is tracking that for us. Howie, it felt kind of like the last couple of days. We're used to a little bit of fog in the morning. It seemed like it took a long time to lift. What's going on?
Yeah, the sun's just not strong enough this time of year to always erode and scour out that fog, and that's just what's happening. All that soil moisture we have now from the rain evaporating, but then getting trapped by high pressure, thus seeing the fog or the stratus clouds, which are about 3,000 feet in elevation. Here's a look at our satellite radar right now. So again, we're seeing some clouds. This is not a good indication of fog or low-level clouds, but we got some rain way up there. We're staying dry at the moment. Temperature-wise, we didn't warm up too nicely, but because of that fog and some of the cloud cover, we shouldn't drop really out of the low 40s in the valley. Going to be cooler up there in those higher elevations. Now, again, we're talking about visibilities. They're already starting to drop down, so more fog on the way. So again, you want to drive on the safer, the slower side as this fog now works its way into the area. But we're going to get rid of fog by the time the weekend kicks in. But we're going to start to see rain and snow. We'll touch on it coming up, Haley.
Okay, thanks, Howie. A major step in recovery for Feather River Adventist school shooting survivors. Action News Now reporter Alejandro Mejia shares with us as students, staff, and parents return to campus for the first time today since the tragic event.
Students and staff are returning back to campus here in Palermo at the Feather River Adventist School just 15 days since the tragic school shooting that left 2 students critically injured. School officials say the decision to come back was inspired by the students who desired to go through the healing process together. The county behavioral health director shared with me why this day is so important.
Reopening your school, bringing students back on campus sends a message that this is not going to define the community. This event is not a common event that's going to happen, that we as community members do not need to live in fear.
The principal of the school, John Linares, says there were lots of resources available on campus today, including therapy dogs and trauma specialists providing emotional care. The principal also shared with me his appreciation for all the community support through such a difficult time. Butte County Behavioral Health Director Scott Kennelly says there is a couple of things to keep in mind when talking to students who went through such a tragic event.
I think it's important that the staff there and the parents of those kids reassure their kids that the school is a safe place. The adults are there to protect them. This was a very unusual, rare event that does not happen every day.
Kennelly says if your child is having a tough time coping with this tragedy so close to home, try to be an open ear. Let them know you are available to help them in any way you can. Reporting in Palermo, I'm Alejandro Mejia for Action News Now.
To read the full statement from the principal, go to our website, actionnewsnow.com. It's part of this story. Police arrested a man for firing a shotgun at the front door of an apartment on Catalpa Court in Reading last night. Police say Christopher Ratz Grissom was trying to get into the apartment but ran off when they arrived. Officers found and arrested him in a nearby parking lot. Well, that was caught on camera, and we apologize if you found that a little bit stunning. That's caught on Ring camera of that high-speed crash ending just feet away from a woman's front yard on East Avenue in Chico. Now, we first told you about this yesterday when part of the street was shut down for hours. There's the crashed car there. That's actually not the car that was being driven, but the one that a driver hit, catapulting that parked car into a tree. We just learned that the driver's name is Jeremy Jurek, and police say that he was going about 100 miles an hour when he slammed into the back of that parked car, shearing a tree into pieces and the car as well. Police say Jurek was thrown out of his car, and he's now in the hospital. We're working to learn how he's doing. The search for the missing teen duck hunters, that continues today. And Action News Now's Camille Acevedo went out to the Thermalito Afterbay and shows us the relentless recovery effort despite those foggy conditions out there.
Hi everyone, it's Camille. I'm here at the Thermalito Afterbay. Now, I know it's really hard to see given the weather conditions. It's pretty foggy out here, but if you could see these blue lights in the far distance, well, these are different agencies that have come to help assist the Butte County Search and Rescue Team to continue their search for these 2 brothers who went missing here on Saturday. Now, a couple of things. It was just confirmed that they did locate a wallet that belonged to one of the brothers here today. Another thing, it is really hard for these divers to see underwater because of all the vegetation that lies here in the Afterbay. But nevertheless, we have Nevada County's Sheriff's Office here, including members of their divers team from the search and rescue. We also have El Dorado County's Sheriff's Office here as well, and even Glenn County's Sheriff's Office here as well, all helping, assisting. Now, there's about 10 boats here on the Afterbay right now, continuing their search, and they're going to be out here until it gets dark. They're going to continue to search for these 2 missing boys, and as of right now, the family wants their privacy. Here in Butte County, I'm Camille Acevedo for Action News Now.
Yesterday, divers recovered what they believed to be pants belonging to one of the brothers. A baby girl who disappeared 9 years ago from Shasta County would have turned 10 today. Ember Graham went missing from Happy Valley in 2015. Her father, Matthew, was the only person of interest. He died during a shootout with police after they say he stole a car and led them on a chase to Dunsmuir. There's a $10,000 reward for information. Call the sheriff's office if you know anything. Parole denied. Convicted killer Gerardo Valenzuela heard those words once again after asking for his freedom for the second time in 4 years. In 1998, Valenzuela beat Ventura Ruiz to death with a hammer, then tried to do the same thing to Efrain Garcia. A Glenn County judge sentenced him to 20 years to life. After today's 2-hour-long parole hearing, the board determined Valenzuela poses an unreasonable risk to the public. He can try again in 3 years. Tehama County Chief Administrator Gabriel Heydrich is pushing back on a complaint by Supervisor Patty Nolan. We told you yesterday, Nolan made accusations against Heydrich, Supervisors John Leach, Bill Mole, Matt Hansen, and Personnel Director Coral Farron and County Counsel Andrew Plett. She accused them of taking illegal actions in a closed session meeting November 26th. Well, we reached out to those accused. Heydrich saying in part, I absolutely welcome continued investigations issued from Supervisor Nolan's bully pulpit, adding that the first and loudest to plead their case seems right until examined by a reasonable mind. Supervisor Matt Hansen said he was perplexed that the supervisors have experienced some disruptive behavior, that is, from Nolan in a number of closed session discussions. He recommended recording the closed session meetings moving forward. Well, voters have made it clear Prop 36 is now in action. We break down what that means for crime in our area. And happening now, Shasta County leaders are tackling a laundry list of concerns. We take you live inside County Supervisors' chambers next.